stuff. Good. And this is just another example. This is another 4/4 tune. But you know, 4/4 is so general. You know, that from country to death metal, you know, everybody can use 4/4. The more advanced ones usually are more. This is an example. This is Red Bone, Valves, and Chains. This is set 8. You can get to some really crazy stuff too. Like I believe a friend of mine once told me there's a Mahavishnu orchestra song that's in 19/8. No idea. But you know, one of the things about this, that, you know, like I said, I've been on some musicians forums. Some of the interesting stuff is that people will write stuff and then be like, what time signature is this? You know, I'm just playing it. What is it? And it's great to watch your responses because you know people come up with different things. You know, 7/4, 4/4, 3/4 switching, and some of them are really just out there. And you know, and we were that. I think that's more what music is. I hate to say what music's supposed to be, but you know, most people come up with stuff and then describe it. Whereas, you know, the way I'm doing it here is really kind of backwards, in that I'm teaching you the language without applying it to anything. So that's kind of the part you have to do on your own. And again, I'll be teaching technology without the musical side. Okay, so briefly I talked about measures. Measures are, you know, the time between two bars. So in this case, there should be 4 beats between here. So 4 quarter notes, 2 half notes, and a combination. You got repeat signs, right? So if you have something that repeats often, you put it between repeat signs and just play. A lot of rock music has a lot of repeat signs. Good things are repetitive. Tempo is given at the top. We didn't talk about that. We talked about how you subdivide beats, and I mentioned tempo. Well, what is tempo? Tempo is the number of beats per minute. Okay? So it's a speed. If you were to get a metronome here, that's a metronome. Now this is, according to this, 92 beats per minute. Now, and this is 4/4. It's marking beat 1 with the triangle there. Unfortunately, I can't figure out how to change the tempo. But you know, that's a basic method. So that's 92 beats per minute. Okay. So that's 150 beats per second, and this is actually in 3/4. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 1. So yeah, so all right, I can cheat by going for different songs. So this is 72. This is much slower. You know, you can go anywhere from 40 beats per minute, very slow, up to some of the thrash metal stuff is in the 200. You can play War Ensemble by Slayer if you want to hear something fast. That's pretty up there. Okay, so that's the tempo at the beginning. We also get dynamic markings, and there's a lot of Latin that these things come from. So you have P is quiet, F is loud. That's short for piano and forte, right? So you have 1 P is quiet, 2 P's is quieter, 3 P's is quieter. That's a pianissimo. That's the quietest you can get. And again, 1 F is forte, 3 F is fortissimo, loudest you can get. And an orchestra can go over 100 decibels, between pianissimo and fortissimo, which exceeds the dynamic range of the CD, for instance. And those terms are kind of general. They're not, it's not like you can say pianissimo is X dB and fortissimo is Y. they're more fluid than that. And as far as dB, we'll get to that in class. Okay, so that kind of summarizes the rhythm and note section. Now we're going to get to pitches, back to pitches. We're talking about accidentals and values. So the three kind of common accidental markings are flat, sharp, and natural. And I showed you flat and sharp before with the enharmonics. When you have a letter by itself that's considered natural, you don't need to put the natural sign every time. But there are times where you're going to normally have a sharp or a flat, and you're going to use a natural to cancel that. Okay? There are also double flat and double sharp, but I'm not going to worry about those because those are only keys with more sharp and flats. And the important thing to get back to the rhythm, if you have an accidental in your chalk here, in your music, that accidental lasts for the entire measure. So, for instance, if we draw a quick staff, all right, and so say you want an E. If you flatten that E, and get a quarter note. If you have another E following it, that's also flattened. And if you want to go back to E natural, you put in the natural sign. Okay? Now, again, this is just for written music. With MIDI, everything is specified absolutely. So we don't have these kinds of rules when we get to the computer side of it. Okay, why don't we take a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back and do intervals. Okay? So it's 8:01, we'll be back 8:06. We'll start this.